I've got a wonderful guest, one of my best friends in the world.
Thank you.
And his name is Alex Patchett. If you'd like to do a bit of a bigger intro for that.
Okay. Hello, Mark, first and foremost. I'll start with, I guess, how we got to know each other. I think as young whippersnappers, probably out drinking, probably younger than we should have been. That's probably when we first met through a mutual friend. And then we had a holiday together where we really bonded.
And I think somebody might have done something very silly before the holiday that you found hilarious. Is that right?
Oh, yes, yeah. I hope that obviously I knew you before this because it makes me sound also like a bad person. But while we were going on holiday together in France, you dropped your passport.
I did, yes.
And you were frantically searching for it, which I found hilarious.
Yeah.
So as you were more and more getting stressed, I was just laughing in a corner. You did manage to go on holiday, thankfully.
Yeah, because that would have been...
Yeah, maybe we wouldn't be friends.
Yeah,
you'd be like,
because it was the holiday that
we bonded.
The bond happened before any sort of like filmmaking or anything like that. It's finally happening.
Yeah,
finally here, and we're going to talk about lots of different projects we did.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I didn't really introduce myself.
Yeah, we sort of skipped over that.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah, I'm a person, a human, who, well, technically I'm a teacher. Oh, did I just put my hand over the mic? And as you can see, not exactly very professional in the media arts, but I enjoyed myself with Mark, and we did a lot of the earlier projects, I would say, that Mark was involved with. Not the earliest, but the early projects I was largely had my hands in or around.
Yeah.
For most of the early projects.
Either like from a filming or a writing or an acting. Well, we say acting, me and Skoda were probably the best of actors.
I think we were, like I think you were saying earlier, the outtake kings. Both of us, but I would say mainly you often would laugh at very inopportune times. And
yes.
I would never remember my lines, ever.
I had this thing, I mentioned it earlier, off recording, that whenever someone had done a really fantastic take, I'd find it funny because they'd do it so well that it would shock me that they've been able to deliver that sort of performance, because we were only like kids really, picking up a camera. Yeah. But we'd be able to do really silly things, but really serious, and that sort of made me laugh. Yeah,
it's a good thing you weren't in charge of filming Schindler's List when it first came out.
No, because I'd have been laughing constantly
throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. Before I brought up this whole thing of coming down and watching a few things. Did you remember any of the things that I showed you today?
I have vague memories of all of the things. A lot of the discussion team go things, and I was going to say Vortex, but you did show me some Vortex things. I remember quite a bit. I don't know whether that was because maybe it was a little bit later, or that it was shown more, or...
I mean, we had both the discussion team go and Vortex. We had both online. Yeah.
So it could have been that.
Which I cannot remove because I've forgot the passwords for. So they are there forever.
Yeah. No. I noticed today, actually, the Vortex was still there. I had a look.
Doing some research.
Yeah.
But let's start with the very first filming project we did together, and this is something that I think I even forgot about. It was me, you, a few people. I showed you some clips earlier, and it was some sort of like teeny sort of thing. What are your memories of that? I think it was called Life as a Teenager or something, or something like that, like college days or something.
I honestly don't think I have almost no memories of that. The stuff that you showed me, I remember that we filmed, I would assume we filmed some in Steve's bedroom and Steve's garage.
Was that Steve's garage, was it? It was not one of the other actors' garages.
I think Steve's.
Yeah.
It's what, Steve's parents now.
Yeah.
Before he became a land baron that he is now.
Maybe he's got a few other garages now that we could film in.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was shocking how young I looked.
It'd be great, we'll just run around, get drunk, sucking naked. That's the rules, isn't it? Who needs girls? Yeah, we do suck a bit, yeah.
You know what, maybe I am being irrational, taking the fact my girlfriend cheated on me. You know what, leave me alone.
And how thin.
But I think that you've got like a similar haircut now.
Yeah, I think so.
So you've gone like almost in a full circle. You had the short hair, and then you went to your lion hair.
Yeah.
And now you're back to your short hair again.
Yeah, the
Tell us about that.
German boy look. Although previous, when I had my hair cut short, it looked like I was like in the Hitler Youth, like a small German boy.
I don't think you had like any sort of beard back then, did you?
No.
I think you went for the whole clean shaved look.
Yeah, although when I did try and grow something that young, it was really scraggly and a bit horrible. So I think that's why I went for the clean look, just because it looked foul. Looked like, And then, I still to this day, I miss my long hair. I love my long hair. But while I was abroad and it was more humid, I looked more and more like Frank Gallagher every day.
But I think I'm definitely receding. It's just age thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And it's not, my hairline isn't necessarily bad, I don't think.
No.
Maybe some other people will disagree.
You've got a good mane.
Yeah, it's just no longer suits my long hair.
Right. But those were fun days of having long hair.
They were. Yeah.
They were some fun days.
Yeah.
But going back to that first sort of thing, I was actually blonde.
Oh,
in all of that.
Yeah.
But I remember being blonde for a week or something. That's in my head. When I think back, I was blonde for about a week, and then I dyed it back.
No, it must have been a longer time.
It's got to have been a few months at least, because there's a lot. There's a lot of footage from back then.
Yeah.
There's at least 4 tapes.
I have a vague memory. I don't think I was acting in it. But the first time I think I went with you for filming, we were in the Memorial Park filming something. And I think I remember coming up...
I did not overuse that location.
I remember, rocking up with you and meeting about 4 or 5 people who I had never met before.
Wow.
And we did some filming. I can't quite remember who's there. I think that might have been the first time I met Smithy, maybe.
Possibly.
But I don't know.
Was it for something that I was making?
I am not 100% sure. I'd
Because
assume so.
There is other thing, because the reason I dyed my hair was for Ted Thomas's film. Do you remember Ted?
Oh, Ted, I'm sure was there actually.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a Ted Thomas production.
It could have been, but it could also be just before when we were doing that weird vampire knockoff without any teeth or any blood or anything.
Yeah.
And just even before the mini DV, there was the High 8, which was a bigger camera. I don't know if you ever remember me filming on that.
Yeah.
Because then me and you both got the 2 DV cameras before we went to the big camera. we were filming on the DV, just DV.
Yeah.
Because it then went into like a higher definition tape. It was the same tapes, but it was higher definition.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't remember where it was going, how much we filmed, like what the story was, or anything like that really.
No,
I was looking over the footage and my character had been dumped, and your character was not consoling me.
Yeah, consoling.
Yeah. It was obviously when you're a young filmmaker, you just like think that your ideas are amazing, but when they're put in reality, it's very different.
Yeah, but also, I think it's a lot of things that come together. Like your writing and ideas become more flushed out and more professional.
Yeah.
Your camera work becomes more professional and better quality. Your editing becomes
And especially
better
with
quality.
like with equipment as well over time. Like you start on your lower end sort of cameras, especially back then, and you sort of work your way up to what you can afford. Like I worked at McDonald's just to buy a camera.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and technology is important, and being able to have the facilities to be able to do it. And obviously people make low budget films and they do very, very well.
Yeah.
But for instance, your vampire film, because you were just a little kid, basically, you couldn't really afford any props and fake blood to the extent that you needed.
Yeah, and it was just like people just talking at each other. So those were sort of my learning years, I think.
Yeah.
And I think coming past that, when we sort of moved into the turbo house, I think that's when the ideas became a lot better and a lot more refined. And like you were saying, we had a little bit better technology and stuff. I had a computer rather than editing at my college at the time.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So you grow on things, and that brought us to Milk Run, one of your ideas.
Yeah. Although
Is this quite a similar thing to like that being your first idea?
Yeah.
Like your first thing that...
No, I had written a whole
film? Or whole story?
A whole story before, yeah. Which I have no idea what happened to that. Or all I remember, I think... Well, I remember the basis that it was psychological and...
Is this the id?
Yeah, the id.
Yeah, I remember this, and I remember being just like, this is amazing. And I remember going, like, I think they used to ask me to do it, be in it.
Yeah, but
and Ben was going to be in it, Ben Stoney.
Yeah. But
then we ended up doing Milk Run instead, is that right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's an issue with everything that I write, that I tend to do some of it and then hate it. And I think it got to that point with that.
And that's a thing that a lot of people struggle with, I think. Like,
yeah, I think
like writing something, being really excited, and then things in their life like taking over, and you going back to it and being just like, oh, this is crap, or this is not how I remember it, or
yeah,
that's sad sometimes, but it is part of development, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
You do then come across an idea which you're just like, you're really proud of, like, I think.
Yeah.
Which we will get to.
I think Milk Run...
Can you explain what Milk Run actually was? Do you remember?
I remember the basis of that I had run out of cereal. Sorry, I hadn't run out of cereal.
You had a lot of cereal.
I had a lot of cereal, and I needed to get some milk, and I'd go to the corner shop and there wasn't any there, and then it would slowly progress and more crazy things would happen on this route to getting milk. Which I think straddled two films that maybe did similar things.
Is it like sort of like in a way, Dude, Where's My Car?
Dude, Where's My Car? Which I probably at the time was like, no, it's not like that, but it's similar.
Yeah.
And Harold and Kumar Get the Munchies,
Yeah.
which I think is also a similar premise of a film, and that was after. But I think I understand why we ended up going in the route we did, because I think Milk Run itself was kind of like a series of sketches to
Yeah.
a certain extent. Like, you could definitely watch parts of Milk Run, from what I remember, in isolation. I'm assuming after Milk Run, was Discussion Team Go?
Yeah, I think Discussion Team Go is the next step.
Yeah.
So this, I think, do you remember how this started?
No.
Me, you, and Mitch were having a few drinks.
Were we the 3 founding members then?
We were, because there was no Ryan and there was no Rob. They came later. And we just randomly put the camera on, started talking about whales and really weird, dark stuff.
Yeah.
And we were just like, well, this could be something. Just like 3 dudes talking about, and that was the first season. I think Ryan was a guest on the first season.
Oh, okay.
When we decided to do something with it. And I think you came up with the name Discussion Team Go. I don't have this as a memory. I say it on one of the tapes that I just looked at.
Oh, okay.
So you must have came up with it.
I don't remember that either.
By the way, the best interview. There's an interview series in Discussion Team Go when Alex is interviewing people, and he's interviewing me, and it's not funny at all. It's just a normal interview. And I'm kind of a bit sour about this because like all the other interviews he did were quite funny, and I think they all made the edits as well, especially the ones with Rob and Ryan. But my one was just me answering questions about Discussion Team Go. Just like, yeah.
But again, I think that shows the progression. I think we were maybe talking about this earlier, that I think originally maybe we were just we're doing an interview and trying to see what worked, and then we did yours first with sort of feeling around, but it just came across as just a normal interview.
Yeah.
Rather than something funny, and then maybe afterwards we were like,
So maybe,
we could do this and this and this.
Yeah, so maybe I wasn't on Graham Norton at that point. We were on somebody that was very serious. Parkinson's. Not Parkinson's. We're not on a Parkinson.
Does Parky still do stuff? He must be retired now.
Maybe that's something we'll find out.
Okay.
I might flash up something at this point, whether he's still...
Hopefully he's not dead.
So your memories of Discussion Team Go. Discussion Team Go basically was, for the audience that will have never watched this, was dudes talking about random things that are happening in society, happening to them, with some sketches sort of lobbed in there. Is that a good, or is it, or do you think that there's a better way to explain it?
I would say it was like loose women. If all the loose women were drinking and were men and were willing to say
un-PC, terrible things.
Basically everything that popped in their head rather than the very mellow program that it is.
Yeah.
With some sketches.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good, and I'm so glad that you went with the PC approach to explaining that.
Yeah.
Because the show was definitely not.
No. I mean, I think the format and some of the stuff, if it was sort of organised a bit better, like we had discussion topics, which we ended up doing anyway, I think.
Yeah.
Well, we're showing the popping up the balloon and stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe, I think could really work if
it was taken a bit more...
It's taken maybe a bit more seriously, and maybe if there was some sort of manager, if we were all like earpieced up, like they do it on like
Like in
cats and
like in the
stuff as well.
studio.
Like, yeah, in the studio, and was like, leave this topic. Like,
Yeah,
if we could
you'd be
have
into
someone who could vet us.
like a Skoda proof.
Yeah. Yeah. And someone to say, shut up, Skoda.
I think all of us were like that though. Like
Yeah.
there's some very, very cringy moments that I've said on that.
Yeah. Well,
I think Ryan was probably the tamest out of all of us.
Yeah, just...
And he said some bad things too.
Yeah.
Do you think the comedy would be accepted more now or in the past?
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I think the format would be more appreciated now. I think
You got a
would
lot
be
of things on
possible.
like YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I think that would really work. I think some of the comedy, one, because it's way too un-PC to
And
go on
a lot
to
of
stream.
in-jokes that people wouldn't have got.
Yeah, and loads of in-jokes. Which is not always great. And it's probably, unfortunately, another issue with this podcast, maybe, that we're going to talk about people don't know.
Yeah.
And I think some of the stuff that we were using as comedy lent itself to a lot of what was popular around in like the late 90s, early...
Me and Skoda watching a lot of like Big Train, Jam.
Yeah.
And Spaced and stuff around that point.
So a lot of surrealist...
Which people would
comedy.
would know Simon Pegg is.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we never got to work with him.
No.
He just kept declining our calls.
Yeah.
For me, like, I didn't push ideas enough, I don't think, with earlier things. Just like put them online and then just didn't push for things. Like with Discussion Team Go. Do you think that... I don't know how to explain it.
I think it's one of those things, isn't it? It's to do with time constraints, and then maybe because you were sort of building on your craft, as it were.
Yeah.
That I think now, if you got some footage, you could edit it well within a shorter amount of time.
Yeah.
But around then, I think it was harder to condense it and
this
get
is
it out.
And this is going back to the technology.
Yeah.
Like you go from mini DV and you have to sit there, like what I'm doing now. You have to sit there in real time, and you have to wait for it to record onto your computer in real time. So if you've recorded an hour, you have to sit there for an hour and just watch it, or leave it for an hour or whatnot, and it could stop during, and you'd have to go back to the beginning and like find out where it stopped recording.
Discussion Team Go really needed like a series of cameras, I think.
Yeah, I think that we bounced from one or then two.
Yeah.
But we only had one now, like most of the time.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's why some of the sketches were better than the actual sitting down and talking, because we could change angles up and stuff.
Yeah.
We could more be experimental with the one camera.
Yeah, it's hard, I think, to keep one steady camera, and then people are always interested, unless, like Richard Herring does it on his podcasts. But he always invites comedians. He's also a very good comedian himself, and so I think they've got more stage presence than perhaps we did as adolescent boys. So yeah, it would have been helpful.
Yeah, to have a bit more money, and the internet was a very different place back then as well. YouTube wasn't as big as it is now, YouTube's massive now.
Yeah.
People could have, like, if you were pushing it from a perspective, like now that you have your Twitter and your Instagrams and stuff to go along with it, if we all had those things wrapped around it, it would have been easier to get people to watch it. And I think that's what the thing, we put it on YouTube, and some people maybe of our friends of their friends would watch it, but we weren't hitting like further than that. But I like that it sort of sits in the progression of what we went to after. Favourite discussion team go memory before we move on? You asked me to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
And here it is.
While I think of my favourite discussion team moment, just wanted to backtrack, like, just talking about the time in general, that I think it was a very good time for me and us. I think it was like a happy time living together. It was a very bonding exercise.
We must have drank a lot.
Yeah, you did well. Just as a side note, I think you can tell actually that the weight that I put on from like the beginning of the clips to the end of the clips is a little bit noticeable.
And the weight that I still haven't got rid of.
Yeah. But yeah, just
I'm just putting more weight onto top of the weight that's still there from those years.
Yeah. So it's so easy to do, and so hard now at our age to get rid of it. But it was good.
Fun.
It was excellent fun. I think it was a time where it was so free and easy, and perhaps nowadays, like, we were very hopeful and full of dreams back then.
Yeah.
And that discussion team go was like, I think, at the apex of that, or maybe the next project, which we'll go into later. Discussion team go memory. There is too many. I think maybe because I just watched the clip, but
you can say Ask Jeeves.
No. Steve Strongman, I thought.
Oh,
I love.
yes.
Is the camera on? Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. My name's Steve Strongman, winner of Mr. Universe 2006. I don't know what you're thinking. These are some exquisitely sculpted guns. Yes, and I did work all my life for them. But guess who can get them now? Yes, you guys. You at home. Sitting in your house with your puny muscles. But now, ones like these coming at you.
I think a lot of people that did watch did enjoy that. I think they did find that funny. Steve Strongman was your favourite, and then
giving birth to the rabbit, I have memories of. But
there's some things that we watched that you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, some very weird things.
Until I started watching it, the Mrs. Pac-Man orgasm.
I don't think that'll ever see the light of day.
I don't remember.
So for me, I really enjoy the Ask Jeeves sketch.
Yeah.
I think if there was an example to what that is, sketch-wise, I think that was one of the strongest. It was quite clever.
Yeah. I think it was the closest thing that we did to any kind of highbrow comedy.
Yeah.
It probably was the most intelligent of sketches that we did.
The one with the most production value. I don't know if you'll remember this, because I don't think you were a part of it. You may be filming, but the sandwich on a stick, and it was a flying sandwich that was attacking Mitch and Smithy. And it was literally, I think, on a fishing rod or something. And we were like, we had the camera underneath the fishing rod with the sandwich hanging. I don't know, I've not come across this tape yet, but I really hope that I do. And we were literally chasing, and they're just like, killer sandwich back again. So that was the best production value, I think.
Yeah, that's
of the
amazing.
show.
That sounds
Other than
incredible.
the big sets that we made
Yeah.
for that. I think we all chipped in like a tenner or something, or might have been more, between me, you, Rob, Smithy, or maybe not Smithy, because he wasn't a regular, was he? He was just in some of the sketches.
Yeah, yeah.
And Ryan. I think we all chipped in, and we went to B&Q with Rob Fellows, and he made it all because he was good at that sort of carpentry stuff.
Yeah.
And then we spray painted it all colourful colours, made a wheel. And I think that was quite fun, doing that sort of thing, because that was the first experience of, like, I know you said we didn't really have props, and then now we have a set,
Yeah.
you know, for the first time ever. And then we're bridging into getting more production value.
Yeah.
Even if it was, like, terribly made and awful looking.
Yeah, it's the beginning again of the next step, isn't it?
Yeah. Possibly my favourite, though, is the next step. Between me and you. We literally sat down and came up with a whole story like that.
Yeah.
That panned across 6 or 7 episodes or something.
Yeah.
This is a turning point. Definitely script-wise, I think the script was strong.
Yeah.
And having the green screen in, this is the first time we ever
green
sort of
screen.
practice with green screen and getting like a vortex outside of a house. So shall we say the premise of what Vortex is?
It's four. Yeah, it was 4.
There was 4 friends, yeah.
Yeah, 4 friends.
4 acquaintances, because I think does one of them actually live? They all lived there, didn't they? They
Yeah,
just
I guess
can't.
so. I guess they were subletting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. We never probably ever brought that up, but I'd imagine because we all sublet that house in Vortex, that we were not the owner of the house. We were just trapped inside.
Oh, maybe we
Which is
should give
true,
in.
actually. We didn't own that house anyway.
Yeah.
Trapped in the house, and a vortex of which is a portal to somewhere that we do not know. It surrounds
But we always
the house.
teased certain things.
Yeah, you can't get in or out, and I guess
There's a limited supply of food and water.
yeah, it's kind of survival story, but also like a buddy comedy, like
Yeah.
friends if they could only stay in their one apartment.
Yeah. Luckily, it was a house, and we had a few rooms to mix it up filming wise,
Yeah, yeah,
and just the randomness of the outside world sometimes peeking through
yeah,
as well, and then also other sort of storylines which we sort of fixed the outside world in somehow. That was quite cool.
yeah.
So what do you think was the best thing about Vortex?
Me.
Yeah. Alex played a character called Tobias, who was a young budding model.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. There's no way I could ever be a model. But
I think that was the funniest thing about it. You're a good-looking guy,
thank you.
but
I haven't. Like models are usually very tall, very thin, very amazing bone structure, which I don't have any of those 3 things. I've got tiny legs, a chubby face.
no.
But yeah, that's part of the amusement.
This isn't real.
What do you mean it's not real?
This is a dream.
Shit.
you ruin my dream again?
One of the things watching Zoolander, which is maybe part of the inspiration.
Part of the character.
Yeah, the character. Ben Stiller said that it's one of his favourite frames, I guess, in the movie is when his and Owen Wilson's noses are like side by side, and they're meant to be male models, but like he's got a really big nose and Owen Wilson's is like completely broken.
Yeah.
That's part of what's amusing.
Also, Vortex was the first HDV thing, because none of Discussion Team Go was, because this was when I bought the new big camera.
Yeah.
And we bought some lights.
Oh yeah.
Like in the footage, you can see like a light, like just every now and again, like poking in the shot.
Have you still got those lights? Are they still in working order?
I think somewhere I've got them, but I don't use them anymore. I used other forms of lights.
Yeah.
They were very dangerous, those lights. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And the bulbs would pop like that. Always be careful with lights. Don't do silly things with them, because me and Rich Williamson did something silly while trying to film Vortex. But I'll leave that for a podcast for him to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just talk about the memories that we have. Do you remember a casting issue with with Vortex? Because obviously me and you wrote it for me and you to play.
Yeah.
But do you remember there being...
For the ladies?
Yeah, a big problem with getting ladies involved.
No.
Yeah, there was a very big problem. We casted a few people. I won't name any names. But they said they would do it, and then it come around to a few days before. I think Vicky was actually on board. But the role of Hope was supposed to be done by somebody else. And then she goes, I couldn't do it, I can't do it. But these things happen in films, and especially like younger films. Yeah. Because essentially you are just like filming with your mates.
Yeah.
Unless you got some sort of budget where you can persuade actresses and actors to come.
Yeah, but from what you hear, things like that happen in the proper
world as well.
The proper industry, like actual films where people pull out and
they have to run around trying to sort it. So you're getting like hands-on experience, really. I mean, this sucks at the time.
Yeah.
But it led us. Claire Barry stood in.
Yeah, she was very good.
And she was good.
She had some excellent monologues that I remember. That were really fun.
And she was like sort of modest, though, weren't she?
Yeah.
With it.
Yeah. I was always impressed with that. Like, usually if I speak myself for over like 4 or 5 sentences, then I can't go on. Got nothing to speak about.
That's why all of our lines are very short, and we struggled when they were longer than paragraphs.
I remember sometimes where there'd be a piece that we'd be doing that I myself had written. I had written for myself, and like one I couldn't remember, and I think we did like 10 takes or over, and every time I'd said a different sentence, I think.
There's some of the takes where we just can't do there was an episode where we have a ghost in it.
Oh, yeah.
And me and you just can't do it.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene where, also in the second episode, where you have a towel on your head, and I'm running up the stairs to tell you that Lucy McWhat's-her-face is downstairs, and we literally can't do that scene. It's 30 minutes of footage.
Do you know, I think I remember that scene
because it had to be one take.
Yeah.
I don't know why it had to be one take.
A scene, I think I come downstairs, and it must be that because I have a towel on my head, and I remember that very clearly.
That was a one take, though. We did that.
I can remember so clearly on the basis that, for me, I thought that was the best acting I'd ever done. I remember watching that back and thinking, that was all right.
What, as in when you're sitting on the couch?
No.
Or the...
I think I come into your room. I don't know why. Why is there so many scenes with the towels on my head? But
there is. There is in episode 2. Like, we do that scene where I run up, then you're in the front room, and I drag you into my room, and I say, she's there, like as in the character, and you're like, nobody's there.
Yeah.
And then you talk about being horny and stuff. If you ever want to see what Alex looks like horny, that's the episode. That's the episode for it.
Yeah. I'd like to also just interject at this point that I've got a towel on my head because, one, I have long hair and it was drying. I wasn't trying to be racist in kind of like a Middle Eastern way.
Oh, no. No, it was just out of the shower, fresh out of the shower.
Yeah.
What do you think could have improved Vortex?
Consistency in the sense that...
You almost took the words straight out of my mouth.
Okay. I think, obviously, we were always around, but the other characters cast were not.
So we couldn't always film what we wanted to, could we?
And although we did sit down and chalk out a few things, I think we should have probably stuck by some of our decisions. And
I think we're worrying like a lot. I don't know if they'll listen to this. And it's not a slanderous thing at all. I think we're worrying a lot about people actresses in relationships. Do you think that's a fair thing to say?
I guess so, yeah.
Because I know that a few of them are supposed to get, towards the end, a bit more romantic. And I think we changed direction.
Yeah, I think so.
To please some of the actresses.
The co-stars.
The co-stars. Which is fair, because that's what they wanted at the time.
Yeah.
But if we would have stuck with that storyline, the initial one, do you think it would have been...
I think so. I think it would have
I mean, I love what
better.
we've done.
Yeah.
What we did with it. It's starting to click or interfere or something. There we go.
Yeah, I think we should... So a lot of what we did was maybe a bit more sporadic.
Yeah.
I think we could have, although it's not on stage, we could have probably done with some more dress rehearsals and done a bit more pre-planning of bits.
And for me, a bit more paperwork. I think paperwork's really important, like getting people to sign stuff and say that you're going to be on a certain amount of episodes, even though we weren't paying people. I think for the younger audience that might be listening to this, always do your paperwork, because if you want to put that out in the future, you might not be able to. I think that's what I'm struggling with now. But I really like the effort that we did, and Vortex has got a big place in my heart, and maybe something in the future, hopefully, that we can revisit.
Yeah.
With a different head, more professional and stuff. And now that there's better cameras and stuff, we could tell the story we want to tell. Maybe even a remake, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
Don't want to commit you to anything on the podcast. But
I probably should, even though like in some ways I've got more responsibility. Well, I haven't really. I'm still a Peter Pan man. But
you don't want to grow up.
Yeah. I'm more organised as a person, so.
Yeah. You say like after remembering all those classic memories of starting from the beginning of filming to some of the last things we did.
Try anything, get out of your comfort zone and enjoy the process.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing.
You don't regret like any of the sort of things that we did, even the bad stuff, bad sort of NPC kind of things.
I don't regret anything. Largely because I enjoyed the process so much.
Yeah. I would say grow and let yourself grow with the filming.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's some really cringy moments, but like you say, we wouldn't be here, would we? Without those experiences.
Yeah.
So, in a kind of strange but true sort of way.
Yeah.
You have to go with the moments, learn. Best thing is to learn, like, you're not going to make a Hollywood budget film straight away with your phone.
Yeah. Yeah, make mistakes, own those mistakes, and just move on. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we end the podcast?
Yeah, I've got this itch. No. No.
God, and we were almost we're almost at the end of an hour without being PC.
Yeah.
But we can't do it.
Yeah.
We just can't.
It seemed rude not to in a discussion about.
Well, it's not a prolapse, eh?
Yeah.
Memories. So thank you guys for listening. This has been Mark Metcalfe and Alex Patchett on the podcast. Give us a little like, especially because Alex is my guest for this week. He really loves likes.
Yeah. I love many likes.
How many likes do you love?
10.
10. Let's get 10 likes on this podcast. This is just scratching the surface of my filmmaking memories. I hope you enjoyed some of the stories, if we told any. I think we told some that they might like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I was scared I've got you some paperwork. And yeah, like, see you guys hopefully in the next one if this is a big hit, which it will be. See ya.
See ya.